Hello, this is my personal introductory video for AEP 858, Data Analysis and Assessment. My name is Lee Cooper, although it's going to show up as Scott, but I do prefer to go by Lee. Alright, so a little bit about me. I grew up in Buena Vista, Colorado. I got my Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Secondary Teaching, from the University of Northern Colorado. This is my third year as a 6th grade math teacher. All those years I've spent teaching in Colorado. I'm married, I have a couple of doggies, and actually any day now, there's a baby on the way. So our due date is February 2nd, so I'm very excited for that. Also very nervous and all those wonderful things, so trying to figure out how I'm going to balance all the things. So, but yeah, we're very excited as well. So that's coming up. New job in Colorado Springs, so I've been working here for since the beginning of the school year, so not for a terribly long time. And that's at Fox Meadow Middle School in Colorado Springs. Alright, a little bit of reflection of district data use. So this has been a year of transition on many levels. Like I mentioned, I'm new to this district, and this is my first year at the district. As far as other transitions, the district superintendent actually was kind of pushed out, and the principal that I was hired by at the school that I'm at is actually acting as kind of a co-superintendent as they kind of work through a process of hiring a new superintendent, but that's going to be kind of a long transition. So actually all the administration at my school are new this year, and then like I said, the administration at the district level has also seen a lot of big changes. So I'm just going to kind of preface that as I'm thinking about how that district data is used. So there was a curriculum change mid-semester. So part of like the my principal, my old principal, who is now the co-superintendent, kind of realized that the math data was not looking good, and I teach 6th grade math, so they wanted to make a big change, and so they just said, hey, next week we're making the change, we're going to be teaching the Engage New York Eureka curriculum, and be ready for that. So that was, like kind of a big thing, and it kind of happened all of a sudden, but their whole goal is that they wanted to make sure, one, that they were supporting new teachers, because there is a lot of new teachers within the district, and also that they're not going to continue down a trend of having low scores. As far as like how I've seen teachers or the district and the principals use data, it's more long-term and broad trends. So, kind of looking at how have students scored in various things as a district or as a school, or where are the parts that we've been low, like what type of question have we been low in, for instance, like maybe like the critical thinking and understanding word problems or writing word problems, that kind of stuff. So more like broad trends, but not necessarily focused in on any particular student or any particular class. There is those things going on though, so I am required to upkeep a data board. What that means is like if we do like a STAR test, we do a CMAS test periodically. So STAR, like the Renaissance Learning, and those kinds of things are just various benchmarks that we have, think through math, that we then have to keep into a data board to kind of see like are students showing growth and those kinds of things within our classroom. And then also common assessments, that's kind of to be determined for me because I haven't been in the district before. And since they did have a curriculum switch, we haven't had a big kind of district test yet, but that's going to be actually coming up here mid-February. Actually kind of late February, they're going to be doing that district test. So I'll see a little bit more about how that looks, and maybe be able to comment a little bit more about how exactly are we using that data to inform our instruction. So some ways that I use data in my classroom. So our district is actually set up with Canvas. So it's an online learning management system, similar to Blackboard, but I found it's actually pretty useful. So I actually use Canvas quizzes for warm-ups and DOL, so like demonstration of learning, maybe like an exit ticket, right? Like what you might refer to at the end of the class. So how are students doing on the quiz? And let's say like they do the warm up, and it's like, hey, got 100% on that the whole class, awesome. We don't even need to go over this warm up. We're moving on, right? So I can kind of inform that instruction right away. If it's like, whoa, we got a 26%, and it's typically a skill that they had learned the previous day, or a skill that they're going to need to be successful in the lesson. Like I know right then that I need to kind of go over the skill and scaffold the lesson a little bit more, and right, it helps me to be a little bit more responsive in real time. And then also just looking at the DOL data, so the demonstrational learning coming at the end of the class, like, okay, yeah, they didn't understand this lesson. I need to figure out a better way to teach that, or I need to like spiral back tomorrow and figure out what we can do to get them where they need to be. So spiral review through warm-ups, that's something that I do try to implement, but I'm going to preface it though, there is not much flexibility, partly because we did switch to a new curriculum, and there was like, hey, whole new curriculum, we're going to need to be teaching these lessons on these days because now we're going to be super behind. So there's been a little bit of lack of flexibility, because they do want us to make sure that right, we get through the standards in the curriculum before the district tests, and also before we get to the state tests. Okay, so a plan for improvement, student performance. I would say efficiently deconstruct for differentiation. So what I mean by that is that I want to make sure that the data that I'm looking at for my classroom, that I can efficiently figure out kind of where students are at and then be able to differentiate. And I think that and figure out ways that I can meet students where they're at. So, and just, right, it's coming back to that student performance. So that's kind of the focus. That's what I want to improve on. And I guess my plan for improvement is, well, part of it is just being able to maybe like just take some some leadway, I guess, in getting that flexibility that I didn't necessarily have. So, and then also targeted and varied reteaches. So something that I think I make a bad habit of, and I think schools often make a bad habit of, is it's like, hey, students scored low here, we're going to need to make sure that we teach these standards better before we get to the assessments or anything like that, right? But when they're doing that, not necessarily teaching in varied ways, just like continuing to go and teach it the same exact way that they learned it the first time, and kind of expecting those different results. So I want to be thinking of different ways to differentiate, integrate technology to where I can vary that teaching style, or maybe like do some kind of projects, those kinds of things, in order to get to that student performance. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much.